Much to the disbelief and consternation of many Chinese environmentalists, China's Ministry for Environmental Protection announced last February that information on just how polluted the country's soil is was legally not available to the public. It said the data collected in a 1 billion yuan, that's around $160 million, national survey from 2006 to 2010 was a state secret. This was in response to a request from a Beijing-based attorney, Zhengwei, to make the information available to the public. Now, Dong then filed an appeal with the ministry, and now, according to the Beijing News, the ministry has reaffirmed that the data is a state secret. That means the government body responsible for the environment is effectively telling Chinese citizens they have no right to know the level of contamination of the soil that their food comes from. The definition of a state secret in China is conveniently vague. It can range from the number of executions carried out each year to industrial production figures, sometimes freely available online and in government publications. It was even invoked to avoid revealing how much compensation was paid out and to whom in a notorious case where adulterated baby formula killed 6 infants and made thousands more ill. To find out how the online community feels about the ministry's decision to keep them in the dark this time, let's head over now to our researcher Esther Dung in the newsroom. So Esther, how do Chinese net users feel about not being allowed access to this data, which could have very direct and serious consequences for their health, amongst other things?
Well, they are not happy campers, of course, to say the least. But interestingly, there are different theories as to why this seemingly inexplicable decision was taken. This poster from Beijing asks, is it that the ministry really doesn't want the information to go public, or that it's simply too horrible to read? And this poster on Sohu.com feels its self-preservation. The ministry knows exactly how serious the pollution in China is, but if the information is made public, it will be held accountable. And this poster, Ling Yu Ma, has another theory. I guess the ministry doesn't have any reliable data. They've been shirking their responsibility for years. Of course, they have to use the state secrets excuse to hide their negligence. And this poster, Lü Tu Suiyuan, just wants to know why he can't know. The ministry should explain the legal basis for saying the information is state secret, or is that law a secret too? And this poster warns of the consequences of the ministry's lack of transparency. This will just make the public assume the situation is even worse than it is, and believe any rumors they are told. People's faith in agriculture will be ruined. Without this information, how can farmers make decisions on where to plant or cooperate with the government to improve soil quality?
Well, since this official information is hidden from them, what sort of guesses or estimations are net users making about what the real situation is?
Well, there are not many positive views, I have to say. 百姓幸福's reaction on Sina.com.cn is typical. China has seen outstanding economic development over the past 30 years. But at what cost? Our groundwater, soil, and wildlife have been severely damaged. The situation is perfectly obvious, and it is ridiculous to say it's a secret. And this poster, Fu Cai Zato, says just the truth is all around. Look at the children with excess lead in their bloods, the people living in Cancer Village, rivers filled with wastewater and stinking air. Doesn't the Environment Ministry feel any shame? And an anonymous poster has this. The air and water are polluted. If the soil is polluted too, what are we going to eat? And how will farmers make a living? Don't focus so much on developing industry. Having food and surviving is more important. And generally, net users are not at all satisfied that the Environmental Ministry actually does anything useful. Some refer to a Xiaoxiang Morning Post report, which says that of the 13 major pollution cases investigated so far this year, not one resulted in a polluting company or regulator official being penalized, but one low-level official who was sacked for notoriously saying the water is red, but that doesn't mean it's polluted. Red beans make water red too. And this poster on QQ.com has a blunt accusation. This ministry isn't there to protect the environment. It is there to collect money. And this poster, 君临天下, backs this up with his own experience. Recently, a ministry inspector come to my factory and confessed, I have to find some excuse to make you pay the noisy pollution fees. And this sort of attitude which leads this poster to say, I strongly suggest abolishing these environmental protection offices. With or without them, the environment is getting polluted anyway.
Okay, I suppose the significance of this event goes far beyond just environmental protection. Surely it concerns a much deeper problem in China, government transparency. What's been said about that?
Well, there seems to be wide agreement that state secrets can't be used like this. 爱你爱家人 from Shanghai has this. The Chinese government is like a secret bureau. It treats its citizens as foreign spies. The government will never get close to people if it always guards against them. And this poster points out loopholes in legislation. The state secret law doesn't have any clear standards about what a state secret actually is and what the limits are. This leads to designating any old thing as state secret. And this poster has its sharp criticism on nailhan8.com. When an accident happens, they pass the buck on to temporary workers. When they want to cover something embarrassing, they say it's state secret. But how many secrets a country can bear? And this poster, 海水正蓝, is more cynical. The government can see officials' assets as state secrets too. Then it can avoid the trouble of declaring them. And 独行客 warns the whole effect is counterproductive. The final result of government departments looking for any excuse to deny the public important information is simply to destroy their public image and lose all credibility. And let's finish up with this thoughtful comment on Sohu.com. There are definitely state secrets related to the country's interest and safety. However, every citizen is affected by issues such as food safety and their living environment, and they should be informed about this. State secrets are sacred, but they can't be abused.
Okay, thanks for looking into that for us, Esther. And that was China Take researcher Esther Dung with online opinion on that decision by the Environmental Ministry to reaffirm its decision to consider soil contamination levels a state secret for the moment at least. Next up on China Take, some of the top trending phrases on China's most popular search engines.